Hello and welcome back. Probably not back, but hello and welcome to my anti-GB News wind-up channel. And I just wanted to start by thanking this person for their great comment on the previous video, where they told me to get rid of the bogus crown and the stylish sunglasses. Thank you very much. And accept the fact you can't grow a mustache, shave it, and stand upright. Well, I'll admit to the mustache part. Fair. I am, however, sitting down. There's a chair. So, I'm very sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to look at something very interesting today. Like I only describe as the most triggered people I've ever seen. Now, we're talking about, basically, people praying in schools. I know. It's almost as if we live in a country with freedom of religion. These people obviously haven't heard of that. Let's have a look at what they're on about. It's going to be great.
Right, Catherine Birbalsingh, incredible woman. I adore her. She is the head of, she did this TV series, Britain's Strictest Head. Carol, let me come to you on this because it's a fascinating case. She's in the Supreme Court. What do you make of it?
You know what? I think this woman is incredible, and I think she is the best head in the country. I think, and she runs undoubtedly one of the best schools in the country. And what she has done, she banned Muslim prayer in the playground. And she's been taken to court for that. One of the students is taking her to court and saying that she doesn't feel like she belongs in this country anymore, which I think is tosh. But anyway,
Okay, right. So who are you to say that you just think they're just making it up? But all right, whatever. I mean, really, you see this sort of just blatant right wing vile that comes out of things like GB News. Trying to, as I said last time, trying to basically ramp up this culture war feeling, which isn't really there. It's completely manufactured by morons like this. And, all these other presenters on GB News and Talk TV is not as bad, but definitely helps, owned by Rupert Murdoch, Not exactly the most centrist voice in British political interests. So yeah, I mean, for you to say, oh, I just don't believe them, I think it's a load of rubbish, on a topic that's directly related to something that you contribute to in terms of just being a hate monger, doesn't really hold much weight, and I think most people see right for it.
Her argument, Catherine's argument, is that it's not discriminatory. She's saying that what she did is not discriminatory. What she's saying is that there was, after the kids were seen praying in the playground, there were lots of complaints. People started to complain that, and I suspect it was the local residents were saying this was Islamophobia. They were lobbing bottles over the wall.
Really appalling.
One teacher had a brick thrown through a window. Teachers were literally in fear of their lives. This is what Catherine is saying. Now, and what she did to stop that was to stop the praying outside. Now, and I've talked about this week, and somebody's saying, why can't they have a prayer room inside? Britain is a secular state. And
okay, I hope they're going to go on about this secular state thing a little bit more after this. It sounds like the sort of thing they could probably ramble on about, the sort of thing they do. But on the issue of, people praying, right? Like, they said they don't want, a prayer room. I guess they're probably going to go into that. But, you don't need a prayer room, necessarily, right? If they're praying outside anyway, there's always a spare room in a school somewhere. As if it's that hard to find a spare room to let them pray, right? I'm not saying this is necessarily, this specific case here is necessarily some sort of, prejudice against one. Although, to be fair, I do think this head teacher is a bit of a wind-up merchant, really. But, whatever. Yeah, and the idea of, so instead of, taking action against the local residents who are throwing bricks, which is mental, by the way. The fact she just says that. And because this whole thing's aimed at Muslims, and I'm going to say it straight up because I think it's true, and you may say, oh, well, you said how do they have the right to say that about Muslims? What gives you the right to say this about them? Mate, we all know these people are just in it for the money, right? They have no interest in this. They're in it for the cash. I think the only reason they're talking about it in this way, the fact that they were so calm about saying, oh, bricks were thrown at students or whatever, is because it's against Muslims. I'm going to say it. Come at me. I dare you. Anyway, let's see what they go on about this. They're going to say probably about how you can't have a prayer room because that's prejudice against the other people. Ignoring the fact that, it's perfectly common practice to have multiple religions use the same prayer room, and yeah, I don't see a problem with that, but whatever.
And as such, state institutions are separate from religious institutions. There's no compulsion on her to have to allow all religions to.
Just saying, I know this is only one case, and I only talk from my experience, but when I was in primary school, we had to, like, do the Lord's Prayer, and, like, I remember the teacher specifically saying, even if you don't want to do it, at least pretend you're doing it. Like, what? There's a lot of religious influence in schools, especially primary schools in this country. I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's true what you say, but there's definitely influence. It's kind of mental.
Created a prayer room for the Muslim kids. What about the Jewish kids?
Exactly.
Here we go.
The Christian kids.
Oh,
Christian kids.
And
Where
she
does
says
this
that
end?
in her statement, doesn't she, Dawn?
It wasn't a discrimination against any religion.
Quite.
As Catherine says, it is a school. I do not discriminate on a child's religion or their race. They come here to learn, no matter what religion or race they are.
Yeah.
And that is what she was concentrating on. That was what makes her school and her as a headmistress one of the best in the country. So this is not even about the religion of Islam. It is about all religions. And obviously the ritual nature of praying, if you are a Muslim, is much more demanding, 5 times a day, etc., than maybe a Christian child or a Jewish child maybe praying once a day. So.
But surely that comes under the umbrella of freedom of religion. Maybe I'm being mental here. I mean, I would say it does. I would say, yeah, maybe we do have to make that exception. These are the people who obviously, there's plenty of videos on GB News going on about, people need to assimilate into this country. Well, surely if you want that to happen, you have to accept their ways of life too, right? Like, we're not going to get anywhere in this whole appeasement between cultures idea in Britain, which so many people on the right want, as opposed to just letting people live their lives how they want to. If you don't make some compromises, I don't understand this, we have to reject everything that's theirs. Outrageous. As if, Britain hasn't absorbed so many different cultures in the past. It's only in the last, literally a few years when this whole culture war idea is so prevalent in this country about, it's us only, we must defend everything about us. Like, no, like, this country is built upon change, it's built upon people coming here, the people that modern Britons are descended from are not from here. Like, that's... Anyway, I know I've gone off track there, and I do that a lot when I talk about this stuff. That's what this channel's for, ranting about these utter right-wing nutters. Utter nutters, saying, boom, I'm genius. Alright, let's see what they got to say on this.
That was the only issue why the Islam side of it has been focused on.
You could see a situation developing, and I think this is what Catherine probably saw as well, that we saw in Batley in Yorkshire, do you remember, where there was the discrimination against that teacher, who's still
in hiding, by the way.
Yes, that's
who's had
right.
to change his name, had to move with these kids, and there were accusations of Islamophobia then. So I think she wanted to nip...
Okay, I don't know anything about that particular case, but there was accusations of Islamophobia. I mean, what if it was Islamophobia, though? Surely he wouldn't go into hiding if, like, it was, like, not true, right? I'm just saying, I don't know anything about that, but that's just my assumption.
All that in the bud, which is why she stopped it in the place.
And she says in her statement, we have Jehovah's Witness families who've objected to Macbeth as a GCSE text. She said we've got Christian families who don't want us to hold GCSE revision sessions on Sundays. We've got Hindu families who've objected to dinner plates touching eggs. And she basically says, I don't tolerate any of it. I don't discriminate against any of it. It's why she's so brilliant.
It's why she should have been. Michael Gove was a big fan of hers when he was Education Secretary. She'd have been a brilliant education
Well, she was the social mobility czar, wasn't she?
Was.
And she stepped back and she said she couldn't get anything done.
Case. That's what I'd like to do, because I think this is about getting her. I think this is someone is out to get her, because it just seems very unusual to me that a pupil would take this to court.
Yeah, but we were saying also, if she loses, is then a compunction on other public buildings to create automatically a Muslim prayer room?
But this is
What are you on about, mate? Oh yeah, she lost the case where she didn't want it. Therefore, everyone's going to have them everywhere. Yeah, sure. There's no Muslims here, but, we're going to have loads of prayer rooms. What are you on about? That's mental. Get a grip. Listen to what you're saying. It sounds idiotic. I don't think they're going to say anything else interesting for the last 10 seconds, but let's have a look.
secular states.
Yeah.
We can't,
and it's also not a Muslim country.
Religion and state has got to be separate.
And we're not a Muslim country.
We're not a Muslim country.
Now then.
These are the people who I don't know who this woman is, but I guarantee I can find a clip somewhere of her saying, Britain is a Christian country. We need to be more, in schools, need to teach about it more, and all that kind of stuff. That like, GB News twists and turns its opinions on many things constantly. They will defend Nigel Farage, and then for whatever sort of sleazy scam he's pulling some week, then they'll be against Angela Rayner this week. I'll do a video about that, by the way. I think that's mental. I don't understand how anyone can seriously think that that's like a problem. So the tax maybe she hasn't paid is £1,500. I put this on a GB News video, and obviously I didn't get any likes because I'm not exactly a target audience, people who can agree with me, and that's fair enough. I don't expect everyone to agree with me all the time, obviously. That's why I do this, so I can... I know for a fact that by putting GB News in the title and the tags, people who don't agree with me, as we saw at the beginning with that comment, will hopefully watch these, and hopefully I can share my opinion, no matter how different it may be today. That's the brilliance of democracy, isn't it? But where was I? I've forgotten where I was. It doesn't matter. I hope you enjoyed watching this train wreck of a video. Back at it again with GB News, obviously. Oh, the head teacher, by the way, is this woman up here. Let me move my camera. It's that woman just above this woman. Yeah. I'll put a circle around it. There you go. So that's interesting. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Leave loads of rude comments about my appearance, by the way. I love them. Very nice. Cheers. See you around.